This week, I take my life's work and put it into an opal table. Opal's been a passion of mine for the last 30 years, and my father before it. And I used to watch him create the most beautiful pieces of art, whether it was oil painting or carving an elephant out of marble, or he carved a frog out of solid opal, a green tree frog. I mean, those kind of things really inspired me throughout my life to create as well. So I thought I'd create something that means a lot to me and to my family and create a beautiful opal table with all this beautiful colour embedded into it. I've had a vision of making a beautiful, expansive table like this for a long time now, and I believe I've collected enough pieces to make it worthwhile. This table is a representation of everything I know about opal, where it comes from, how it's found, how it's processed, all the way to the end user. And at the end of this video, I'll explain to you the whole story, but I think you're going to enjoy it. So my plan is to create spaces in the table or the wood where I can place these beautiful pieces of opal that get encased pretty much forever. And I'm really excited to share this story with you. So the resining part of this table is something that I don't claim to be an expert on. So I'm getting the experts in, and I've gone to visit Aussie Camphor to visit Dave. And Dave has been in wood for a very, very long time, and he's figured out what we need to do to really show off these opals. When there's over $40,000 worth of opal going into a table, you want to get it right. You want to make sure that everything is done right. You don't want bubbles, you don't want, cloudy parts. So we're taking our time to make sure that this turns out right, and it's pretty exciting. Probably the most expensive part of the opals. So today is the day. The everything coming together day, the let's pray that these opals actually show up on the table and really look at you, because it's been 3 months of hard work trying to get this table together, and I don't actually know if the opal is going to kick when it's in the table or not. That was a kind of a risk that I was willing to take, but I just am not sure. Yes! The colours are popping. I am so happy with the way it turned out. Yes! Oh, yes! what a result. This has been 3 months of working on a project that I've been keeping quite a secret, so I'm really sorry for that, but all of the Beaten by Sand pieces, they're all in this project, and many more pieces that I chose to put in it. And the tables turned out way better than I actually imagined, and it was a risk to see whether the opals were going to pop through the resin, and I'm so happy, so happy. But this whole table, it tells a story. It tells a story of the whole opal industry, and let me explain it to you. So over here we have in the knot in the wood is like a pocket of opal underground. So when a miner's mining knobby opal, they usually find a pocket, and it's a cluster of opals together, and that's what we call a pocket. And around the outside of that pocket is what we call floaters, which is the odd knobby opal just sitting there by itself for some unknown reason, we don't know why. And they can have color, or they could have just be plain potch. But anyway, without this area here, we have the mining section. Without the miners, we don't have an opal industry. So this is a very, very important part of the industry. As we move along, we get to the Beaten by Sand pieces, which is where I come in. This is what I do. I find out whether opal actually cuts or not. And the pieces in here, some of them are beaten by sand, some of them probably could cut stones out of, but I wanted to leave them in there to make the table just a little bit extra special. So this is where the pieces that don't quite make it, it's like the Beaten by Sand graveyard. When we get some opals that do make it, they make a preform, and the preforms, or rubs as we call them, are pieces of opal that are ready to go to the polish. And you can see here I've got dop sticks here with stones on them, and that's where I start polishing the opals. So this is a little bit of a track that goes along the table, tells the story. Once I've cut these stones, we come to the polished area, and the polished area is all types of opal that I've put in this table, and it's probably the most expensive part because there's a lot of really nice gems in here. And this is the wholesale and retail part of the whole opal industry, which is really important as well as the mining, because without the miners and people who buy the opal, there'd still be no industry. So we all need each other. And from these beautiful gems, there's some absolute crackers. Look at the color of that one in there, and the blue in that one. There's some red in those. So there's some really nice gems I've chosen. But there's another couple of little facets that shoot off around the end product of opal. And some of it is in the form of fossils. We like to see fossils that have been, animals and all sorts of things that had been opalized over years. Like we've got an opalized piece of wood here, there's a piece of coral, there's an opalized bone, a piece of bone from some creature, and there's a yabby button. So a yabby button is a part of the yabby tail, and that's also been opalized. Here's a carving. This is a carving that my father did many years ago, and shows you that you can also carve opal and make it into beautiful settings through carvings. There's also a couple of things here, like there's a YouTube video piece that I made an opal carving of myself. There's the hand polished opal that I polished by hand is also in here. Down on the corner here is 3 stones. There's my son's, my wife's and my dad's first opal they ever cut. So that's quite important down there. And the lucky last end of the food chain is the opal ring at the end. And that's where opal eventually ends up in somebody's collection or into a beautiful piece of jewelry to be worn and loved. So I love this, that this whole table came out as a story, and this is now going to be the feature of my workshop right here. So excited. The legs are coming in about 2 weeks' time, so happy for that, but for now we can just enjoy the table.